Is my whole world gonna spin on its head?
At like 3% of people this happens to. I'm like, I would be a 3%.
I didn't know that was a side effect of something that could happen. I'm just like, that's really weird.
I'm scared. So they did a biopsy.
How you feeling?
I hope that it's nothing serious, but...
Play Heartburn by NLT. Hi guys, it's Adria. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. For today's video, we are talking about my heartburn. We are talking about my endoscopy experience. Ugh, shudders into the void. So before we get started, make sure to like up this video and subscribe. Also hit the notification bell because YouTube likes to hide my content. But another great way to make sure you never miss an upload is to follow me on Twitter, Instagram. I always advertise there whenever I post. I originally was filming this video as a vlog for my vlog channel because your girl's like a vlogger now. The more and more I thought about it, I'm like, oh, this would be like a good sit down main channel story time. Let's just talk about endoscopy. What is that? An upper endoscopy is where they stick a scope down your throat to look at your esophagus, your stomach, the starting part of your, is it your small intestine or what? That part of your tummy. Okay. I was actually recommended to have an endoscopy back in 2017. I chickened out of it. I just got so scared because back then I didn't even know that when you get one, you are under anesthesia. I literally thought you just sit there and they're just like, well, open up. That's really scary. So honestly, anybody would be scared in that scenario. 10 out of 10 wouldn't, like, would anybody do that? Though I did find this really scary video on YouTube of a doctor giving himself an endoscopy. Don't watch it.
Disgusting!
I did want to share my experience having one though, just in case anyone else out there ever needs to get one of these done. Hope not. I did have some weird side effects from it, but I'll get into that as well. I feel like videos like this are helpful because I watched a lot of videos like this. And if I have an experience on something and it can help anybody out in the world, I'm all for that. As a lot of you may know, I did go to the hospital back in February because I had a whole week of constipation, lightheadedness, no appetite, and then eventually, after like 5-6-ish days, I was super dizzy, hot, fainted, vomited up undigested soup all over myself on the bathroom floor. Went to the hospital. They didn't really know what was going on. I went to my general doctor. She didn't really know what was going on. We did testing for like autoimmune disease. My general doctor recommends I go get an endoscopy done. I'm like, can we just skip like the whole general consultation that happens when you go to a GI? Because like I've been through this so many times before. I've dropped a ton of weight. I have like no appetite. I feel like I need to get an endoscopy like ASAP. And she agreed with that because, you know, like, I've been here before. They recommended me the endoscopy before. Probably should have done it then. That's okay. The quickest they could schedule me was like a month away. When you can't eat every day and you're having trouble eating, you're in pain. I need to go like today. They did put me on a cancellations list though. That kind of made me nervous though, because I'm like, wait a minute, are they just gonna call me on like a day's notice and be like, hey, come in tomorrow, bestie. Let's go. Let's vlog your stomach. But that ended up never happening. At first, they told me that with COVID that the offices were really restricted and I'd have to go in there by myself. And I was really scared about that. I was like, I really don't want to do that. So now let's just get into my vlog footage that I took of the day before. So today is Wednesday, March 30th. So tomorrow is my endoscopy. The gastro office called me this morning to confirm. They had mailed me instructions in the mail. Let's see. Physician has requested for you to have an upper endoscopic examination to view the inside of your esophagus, stomach, and duodenum. The actual test, 20 minutes, should take 1.5 to 2 hours. You will be receiving intravenous sedation medications for your procedure. Therefore, you must make arrangements ahead of time for an adult to drive you home. There are times when, due to reasons beyond our control, we will need to move your appointment to an earlier time slot. I wish they would move it to an earlier time slot, honestly, because it's not till 2:30 in the afternoon and I have to fast. That was another part of these instructions. So no solids after midnight. The day of your procedure, you may only have clear liquids until 3 hours prior to your arrival time. So until 11:30, I can have Gatorade, water ice, and we got Jello. I think that's the part that's really kind of making me nervous, is that I'm afraid that I'm gonna be like super hungry or like super lightheaded and there's nothing I can do about it. Then they just give a whole list of stuff I can have: Gatorade, soda, Italian water ice, popsicles, or white grape juice. Do not eat or drink anything with red, blue, or purple food dyes. Red and purple look like blood during your procedure. No milk. This is another thing that I'm kind of struggling with, is do not chew gum, suck on hard candy, or smoke 3 hours prior to your procedure. Well, I don't smoke. I very much chew gum and suck on mints or like ginger candy if I'm anxious. That's very much just like a comfort to me. So the fact that I'm gonna be anxious and I can't put anything in my mouth is going to suck for me. Other medications should be held until after the procedure. All body piercing should be removed. Please call the office with any questions. So Brandon's gonna take me, and they actually changed the guidelines. There were like COVID regulations that he couldn't come into the building with me, that I would have to go in myself. So that's a lot of my stress sort of lifted. Today I'm so dizzy. I've been dizzy for the last day, and my appetite was good yesterday, but today I'm mostly just trying to drink Gatorade. I've been snacking on some goldfish too. I think something that I'm worried about is like I can't eat after midnight. And I'm so afraid of like my appetite not being here today, and then tomorrow I wake up and I'm starving. And like my heart rate has been going really high lately. Earlier, I was so dizzy and I laid flat on my back on the floor and my pulse was still like 97. Wait, that doesn't seem normal. I know it's not scary, but I'm anxious like right now just because I've never had it before. I don't really know what fully to expect. I know it's literally gonna be like I go to sleep and then I wake up and it's done. But really, I'm just kind of anxious of like leading up to it, and I just hope it all goes well. So we'll see you tomorrow. Hey guys, it's the next day. I've been awake for a few hours now. So right now I'm eating some Jello. Yeah, I made this last night. It's so squishy. I'm not super hungry today, which I'm kind of glad about, which is pretty much the whole reason why I'm having this done anyway. Last night for dinner, Brandon was like, you can order whatever you want. So I got a grilled cheese and some chicken tenders and some fries. So I kind of just picked at it. And then I had like pain like up in my side afterward. I didn't say anything to him though, because I didn't want to like freak him out. I really wanted to like eat like a really good last meal and like really indulge in it. But I'm like, why aren't I more hungry right now? I won't be able to eat all day tomorrow. But I do have my chicken tender leftovers for after the endoscopy, so hopefully I'll be more hungry then. I think I'm more so just nervous just to like get it out of the way. Although doing this, like vlogging, helps ease my nerves, because like I feel like I can do anything if I film it. So I can only eat and drink for another 2 hours. Try to fuel myself a little bit for the day. Also want to maybe eat like half of this bowl of Jello if I can. I'm so nervous about today. I don't really know what to expect. I don't know, the thought of like getting a diagnosis or an answer after today, like is my whole world gonna spin on its head, or am I just gonna be like at square one? Like I don't know what to do. I guess we'll see. Brandon's home, he's in the shower. My mom just stopped by to say hi and wish me luck. I'm now like kind of dizzy. I did eat the rest of the Jello and finish the Gatorade, and I did chew a piece of gum for a little bit, but I stopped everything at 11:30. Like around, I want to say like 11:45ish, like I just felt so dizzy, like out of nowhere. Like it actually felt like something hit me in the face. I was just like, oh, like now I'm dizzy out of nowhere. So, and also like my hands are shaking. And now I'm hungry. Like now I actually want to eat. Yeah, I'm wearing comfy clothes. This is my favorite shirt. This is Brandon's shirt, but I kind of adopted it. I wore a bandeau bra, like without straps, in case like they have to help me get dressed, or like if Brandon has to help me get dressed. So just to like make it easier. I did clothes that were like easy to get off and on, that were like loose and all that. I'm so nervous. I wish I could just go right now and just get it over with, especially with how hungry I am, but I'm scared.
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
My esophagus and stomach are about to be like, wait, is this
play about us.
All right, well, let's go in.
I'm so hungry. I want that grilled cheese. All right, bye.
So I did have Brandon take me. He actually ended up waiting in the waiting room. Looking back at it now, I kind of wish he had come back with me at first while I had the IV and everything, because it was a lot of prep before the endoscopy. I think that's why I didn't want him to come back, because I thought it would just be like a few minutes and then I'd go get the thing down my throat, but it took a while. I mean, so at this point, I was anxious, I was so hungry, and I was pretty dizzy. And they're like, oh, hey, lady, please give us a urine sample for a pregnancy test, which as a woman, I hate this so much. And I've noticed this from going to the hospital and having this done in the last couple months, you know. Before this, I hadn't really given urine pregnancy test type things before, at least not for a long time. I realized like how annoying and inconvenient it is. Because I saw men coming back and they would just come right back and go right into their bed and go through all the questions. Like, it just seemed like so much smoother of a process. And I know what you're thinking, Adria, it's just peeing in a cup. But when you're dehydrated and you've been fasting and it's 2:30 in the afternoon, I was like SpongeBob in Sandy's tree dome when he's like, that was me. I could not pee in this cup. I'm in there like trying to milk a cow. Like, I've never tried to pee so hard in my life. I must be completely dehydrated. I can't do this. So I go out and I tell the nurse that. She's like, oh, it's fine. So she gives me the IV. So I used to be terrified of needles when I was a kid, but as I've gotten older, I've kind of gotten over it. But there are times where if I'm in like a heightened state of anxiety, it's definitely more like, so I'm just talking to her and she's putting in my IV and then she just starts freaking out. And girl, the last thing you want is your nurse freaking out. She's like, oh, your vein blew. It blew. It blew. I'm like, is it all right? And she's like, oh, yeah, you'll be fine. She's like, oh my gosh, that just scared me. Like, I'm just like, I'm like, listen, I don't want to micromanage of how to do your job, but like, aren't nurses supposed to be kind of composed? I was more calm in the scenario than she was. She was just freaking out. Next, she was like very high strung to the point it was making me nervous. This is not the vibe, and this is where I wish Brandon had come back with me. I didn't have my purse, I didn't have my phone. I wish to God I had taken my phone with me. I didn't realize how long I'd be laying there. It was like an hour of just laying there with an IV, just answering questions and all that, and like, what are you here for, and like, what are you getting done? And she keeps coming back, oh, do you pee yet? No, and I'm like, the last thing I want to do right now is go pee. Like, I just want to get out of here. Feeling the pressure of her just like coming back and forth and being like, can you go yet? Can you go yet? I like got so nervous I started crying, but not like loud. It was just like my eyes were watering and I'm just sitting there like just like, what? But like, I'm in this hospital gown. I get up from this bed to go pee, right? And she's like helping me with like the IV and stuff. This lady did not even like tie up my hospital gown. That would have helped. So like, she held it for me as I'm walking to the bathroom. But then when I come out of the bathroom, she's nowhere to be seen. So I just like have my gown wide open in the back with my polka dot underwear hanging out. I'm like, girl, this is not fun. What? Where did you go? I really liked the anesthesiologist. He was really cool. I liked the doctor too. He was really nice. But the nurse like made me like, she was kind of a soup sandwich. So the anesthesiologist wheels me back into the room, and on the way, like, I'm like bumping into a ton of shit. Like, I bumped into a trash can, and one of the nurses is like, do you need help? He's like, no, I'm just gonna play bumper cars the whole way. And I'm just like, I like this guy. I'm anxious, and where somebody else may have been annoyed at being bumped into a trash can, I thought it was hilarious. It just bumped me all over the place, bestie, because like, this is great. So they wheel me back into this tiny little room. As soon as I get in there, the first thing I see is this monitor where you can tell there was a camera turned on and attached to this monitor. So I'm like, oh, that's the camera that's going, I don't know why seeing it made it like, it made it a little scary and real. So once I got into that little room, like, I really started feeling like really nervous, but the nurse in there was really nice. Like, she was like an older woman and she just had very much like Meemaw energy. So they put this oxygen up in my nose, right? And as soon as this hits my nose, I'm instantly like, it felt like I just like I was like, girl, what is this? Instantly burned, felt like fire in my nose. Like, have you ever gotten like pepper up your nose? So in my mind, I'm thinking like, is this stuff putting me to sleep or what is this doing? I was like, there's no way this is just air burning my nose. I said to them, I'm like, am I supposed to be asleep yet? They're like, no. And it's just stinging, girl. I mean, I guess I had oxygen when I had my colonoscopy done, but my assumption is that with the endoscopy, I mean, your air is super restricted because they're all down your throat, girl, so you're not breathing out of your mouth. So they really got to pump your nose with the oxygen. So that's my guess of why it was just blasting me in the face. And I was just like... And then they started asking me like what I do for a living, and like for some reason I like couldn't even answer. I was like so anxious that my mind went blank. I was just like dissociates into the void. And I told them, I'm like, oh well, I do social media, I do YouTube, I do TikTok. And the anesthesiologist lit up when I said TikTok. He's like, oh my gosh, I love TikTok. Wait, what's your username? I'm on there all the time. And I told him, oh, it's Adria and Panda. He's like, wait a minute, I think I've seen you before. And I think I mentioned this in the clip of me after the procedure when I'm loopy, which you'll see. Yeah. Then I started crying again because I started to feel panicked as they're like prepping everything. I see the anesthesiologist like getting the bag of stuff and like touching my IV and all that, and the doctor comes in and they're doing stuff and I'm just like, oh, this is really about to happen and I can't leave. When I was getting my IV and I felt anxious and I was just laying there in the bed, I'm thinking to myself like, I should just run out of here. The fight or flight. To fight or flight. The nurse with the mom energy, she's just like patting my head. She's like, it'll be over soon. We'll take good care of you. I was just like, thanks, mom. One thing I do remember before I fell asleep was that they put this pillow at my back that was like ice cold, but it felt so good because this room was like really hot. And next thing I know, I'm asleep. I had a lot of people ask me like, oh, do you remember anything from it? Did you feel anything? Did you see anything? And girl, no. I could have been abducted by aliens and I have no idea. So next thing I know, I'm waking up in a recovery area, not in the same room. I was a little confused as to where I was when I woke up. It was kind of that feeling of when you had a sleepover in some new location and you're waking up and you're like, wait, where am I? I was aware of what happened. I was like, oh, I'm an endoscopy. Oh, I'm waking up. But I was so tired. It was kind of like I popped a Tylenol PM and someone woke me up in the middle of the night. I was expecting to be like loopy, talking crazy, because that's what happened after my colonoscopy.
I'm gonna go home and YouTube you.
I'm famous.
You're famous?
Just a mess. And I was kind of afraid of that. I'm like, I'm so afraid of embarrassing myself. For some reason, this is different. I even read somewhere online that it isn't like a colonoscopy, like you're not loopy when you wake up, you're just tired. I'm waking up, they offer me a snack and a drink. I obviously picked my favorite snack in the world. When they said goldfish, I was like, this is so confusing to me about the whole thing though, is that they're like, oh, don't operate machinery, don't sign any important legal documents, don't go to work. But here they are giving me my whole synopsis of everything that happened. They're like, all right, so here's what we did, here's all this. And I'm just like, how am I supposed to know? They give me this paper. Look away if you don't want to see my esophagus, but here we go. It's kind of gross. As I'm sitting there, the more I'm waking up, I'm like, my nose is on fire. I start sneezing. Sneezing like I'm having an allergy attack. And that was my first thought. Like, am I having an allergy attack? Like, what is going on? They said everything looked fine, but there was inflammation like right here. And I guess they did like 3 biopsies, like probably like down here and like in the stomach and here. And I asked if that was normal. I'm surprised I even had like the foresight to even ask that because I was still just like so tired. They're like, yeah, they typically do biopsies just to like test for like celiac disease, infections, and like that sort of thing. But I said, what could be causing the inflammation? And she said, well, it's typically from, if I remember correctly, she said medications like Advil. And I'm like, I don't really take a ton of Advil. I rarely take medicine. She also said it could be caused by acid reflux. Good thing I got a prescription for acid reflux. Cool. I thought this was kind of nuts. And she's like, all right, are you ready to go? I'm just like, I felt like I could have laid there for like another 5 minutes. So then I had to dress myself, which was hard to do. She was even like, oh, don't bend over to tie your shoes or anything or like mess with your shoes because it can make you dizzy. Okay. It was so hard to get dressed. I'm just like, Like, I kind of wish that Brandon had been in there helping me, because that's what happened with my colonoscopy. It was actually my mother-in-law that helped me get dressed, and she then proceeded to tell Brandon that I had really nice boobs, and he's just like, thanks, Mom. But anyway, so the nurse walks me out to Brandon's car, not even the waiting room. She's like, yeah, we have to walk you out the back. I can't walk you in the way you came. And I was like, COVID only travels in one direction. And she like actually bursts out laughing. Walks me out to Brandon's car, seats me in, and then Brandon takes this clip of me.
She did it.
I did it. I'm so tired. I'm so tired.
I should film it horizontally.
Yeah, they did a biopsy. They said there was inflammation right there, which can be from reflux. Yeah, so they did biopsy that would like food allergies and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
How you feeling?
Just very out of it, tired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, I'll stop
And
this.
it made my my nose is like all sinusy. I kept sneezing because they put oxygen in my throat, like up my nose. So, yeah. And I was like laughing with the anesthesiologist before I went to sleep because I told him that I did TikTok, and he's like, I feel like I've seen you on TikTok before. He's like, because I told him my handle, I was like, Adria and Panda. He's like, I feel like I've seen you before. I'm like, that sounds familiar. It was funny.
Fine.
I don't even remember falling asleep.
I vaguely even remember this. We go home and they told me to just take it easy. I could hardly even keep my head up, sitting on a couch. I'm sitting there, I'm watching Breaking Bad. I ate some chicken tenders and some grilled cheese. I really felt okay that night, but again, I was sneezing, my nose was running. I used an entire roll of toilet paper, blowing my nose. Just girly night. Like, girls are gross. Maybe we're a little better at hiding it, but we may be more disgusting. Because I'm sitting there seasoning my grilled cheese with post-nasal drip. But anyway, so they told me that my stomach could hurt or whatever, and I might be off for a few days and just take it easy. Because even though it wasn't a surgery per se, it was still a medical procedure, and it was trauma on the body. Putting a garden hose down your throat into your stomach, so you gotta recover. I still don't like to think about the fact that there was literally a camera in my stomach. Could y'all like email me that footage for my video? What's the girl gotta do to get the footage? I don't know if I'd want to see that though. I mean, maybe. The next day I wake up, I'm in misery.
It's the next day. It's 12:30. I can't really stop sneezing. I have, my sinuses are all irritated from the oxygen. I looked it up. Apparently it's a thing, but it's not super common of a side effect. It's at like 3% of people this happens to. I'm like, I would be a 3%. So I was up all night sneezing. My nose was running. This speaks for itself. This morning, I stayed in bed longer than I normally would. And then I got up to go make like some tea and some cereal. And I took one bite of Chex cereal and it felt like I got stabbed in like the left side of my stomach. So now I don't know what to eat. I have a call into the GI center. They're gonna get back to me. They actually did like a courtesy call this morning right after that happened. So I was kind of relieved that they didn't call sooner and that I was just like, oh, everything's good, because now it's like I'm concerned and I don't know what to eat. So like I'm just in bed today. I've been crying a lot because I'm just like kind of scared. Like I hope that this isn't like a complication or something, and I hope that I don't need like medication. I hope it's nothing serious, but from what I read online, like most people, it seems like I've had something like this, like just like pain afterward, but like I don't know what to eat, and now I'm like scared to eat. I mean, I frequently go through bouts where I'm like afraid to eat because of pain and like indigestion and heartburn. I get scared to eat food, so this is not very fun. I'm hungry, like food sounds good to me, but I just like don't know what to eat. I just hope that this passes. I hope that it's nothing serious, but
That was just scary. I mean, to take one little bite of food and just cereal and just feel like you're being stabbed. Everybody that I talk to that has had an endoscopy done, they're like, oh, it's so easy. It's so painless. Even my anesthesiologist was like, oh, I just had this done a couple weeks ago. Like, it's no sweat. The lady on the phone seemed so caught off guard by me saying like, oh, I can't stop sneezing. She's like, oh, I've never heard of that happening. Yeah. Then that day I took it easy. I had Jell-O and Gatorade for the rest of the day. I had goldfish, which I sucked on very well till they went down. So like, oh, your throat might hurt, your stomach might ache a little. Me. Oh, I'm stabbed in the rib! And the Oscar for Best Actor goes to Adria. Wow, this is such an honor. I would like to thank the Academy. I don't know how I got here. I was on Google and just looking, and people were like, oh, this could mean like an infection from the biopsy. And I'm like, girl, this is the last thing I need. This is the last thing my anxiety needs. A few hours later, I get a call from the nurse. I'm sitting there exactly like this. This nurse tells me about the pain. Oh, just eat lightly, just eat really like soft foods. Oh, and avoid cheese because that can make the pain worse. The pain can be trapped gas in your stomach, which your girl already. Hello, I can't burp. See, I don't burp. It's just like air comes up and it just. So by the next day, I was feeling a lot better, and I actually even went to the beach the next day with Brandon. Really, it was like 2 days of just crappiness. So what was the worst part of the whole thing? 1000% the issue with my sinuses, but I mean the gas pain, the trapped gas from when I ate was horrible. That was really bad. I mean the fasting wasn't so bad. I was really anxious about that because I get dizzy if I don't eat enough. That really wasn't even that bad. I do wish that my endoscopy had been in the morning so that the fasting wouldn't really have felt like anything. And the other day I did get my results back and they said that everything looked normal, just the inflammation from acid reflux. Even that wasn't of huge concern, except now I'm like, I'm kind of at square one again. So I'm like, I don't really know what to do. But the good news is that I don't have celiac disease. A lot of people were saying that to me, like, oh, do you think you have celiac disease? And like, I have someone in my family that has celiac disease. I was like, oh no. And then I just started like gaslighting myself, like, you probably have celiac disease and all you eat is bread, Adria, but God bless, I do not. Because if I couldn't eat bread, I might be clocking out early because I can't do that. What's my next order of business? I do kind of want to look into Botox for the larynx. That's a thing that can help me burp. I kind of want to look into that. And I think I also maybe need to get my gallbladder checked. I don't even know. I don't know. I'm frustrated. This is like what I talk to my therapist about. I'm just like, I just have so much stress about my health. Like I just want to fix it and just be able to eat without stressing out because like I love food. Eating used to be one of my favorite activities, but now it's just like, if I eat this, will I be in pain? Will it give me gas? Will I... How would I rate my endoscopy experience from 1 to 10? I would give it like a 7 out of 10 as far as like it went good. Minus a few points for the issues mentioned. Even though what happened to me was uncommon, it can happen. But anyway, so thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope this was like a little entertaining. I know it's just like, Adria, did you just make a whole story time about having an endoscopy? Yes. Yes, I did. If you enjoyed, don't forget to like it up and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss when I upload. Also follow me on social media. Just see what I'm doing over there. I will see you guys again real soon with hopefully not health related videos. Until then, fan hugs. Love you guys. Goodbye. Still doesn't answer why I fainted. And why didn't I digest my soup? Why?